How's it going, everyone, tonight? Tonight, I call this a very special sales training because we're going to cover a lot in this call, I should say. How to get leads, how to speak with leads, how to get prospects, how to get leads from prospects, how to get leads from current members, the whole 9 yards, but how to have a continuous list of leads in your pipeline, regardless if you're in network marketing, if you're in any sort of sales, it really doesn't matter. Lead generation is always a big deal. There are companies out there that they make a living off this. They go out and they get leads all sorts of different ways. I'm going to share with you how they do it, and they turn around and sell them to you. And the problem sometimes is they sell them to 20, 30, sometimes up to 50 more people, even 5 or 10 more people at the same time. So you're working the same leads. Lead generation is very, I don't want to say tricky, but it is something that is important to learn, and there is a science behind it. There's a way, well, a science and an art, really, and it's really experience that allows you to become a good lead generation person. And so here's a list of 14 different things we're going to cover all in one call, and I've also got a special guest as well. So and I'm going to have people unmute themselves as well. I've given you the ability to unmute yourself tonight because I'd like to hear some feedback and things that you guys are doing as well. So a lot to fit into one call. But number one, do not settle for just one lead source. So that's a big deal. I've been in sales for decades, and I can tell you right now, I'm constantly working on my pipeline, always wanting more and more leads all the time, and I get them many different ways. But if I'm going to go out and I'm going to generate leads, I'm going to generate leads numerous ways. I would never settle for one lead source, whether that's purchasing leads from ABC or Facebook or whatever it may be. I would never do that. Number two, use prospecting campaigns. Now, there's a lot of ways you can do this. In fact, number three kind of ties into number two, use and share valuable content. Let me explain that a little bit. One great source right now is Facebook Live. There are more people, and I know not everybody loves Facebook, not everybody is on Facebook, but Facebook still has more people than any other social media source that I'm aware of. And you don't have to just do Facebook Lives, but videos. Introduce yourself, things of that sort. But the biggest mistake I see a lot of Facebook Lives. In fact, I watch a lot of those videos when you go onto your home page on Facebook and you see somebody's story. I click on it and I watch those stories a lot. And my kids are like, why do you watch those things? And I said, because I want to hear what people are saying. I said, whether I know the person or not, I want to hear what people are saying because it gives me ideas and things of that sort. Even though I've been in sales almost my entire life, I still look for ways to improve and get better. Dave said it today. He did an excellent training this morning. And he said, you know, the best salespeople, best entrepreneurs, whoever they may be, they're always looking for ways to improve. And that's the truth. You've got to be humble. You can't think you know everything. Nobody knows everything. There's always a better way, or there's always another way. When we're sharing valuable content, let me explain what that means. If I'm going to go up and I'm going to do a Facebook Live, and you've seen some of my videos and other things, and I'll tailor them. Sometimes I'll do videos for my Facebook group. Say, all right, this is my group, so I'm going to target that, and I'm going to discuss with people that are already members or people I already know who are looking at this. So I'm going to tailor fit that message to that group. But if I'm going out there and I'm just trying to get prospects, I'm not going to talk about the matrix. I'm not even going to talk about the card in some instances. I'm not going to talk about making money. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. And you're thinking, John, what's left? Easy. I'm going to talk about saving money. What you want to do when you do a Facebook Live and things of that sort, do it the same day every week. Same day, same time. You know, I remember years ago I watched Batman. This will be on the same bat time, the same bat channel, right? Every week it's on the same time. People will eventually see it here Monday at noon or 2 or 4 or 5, 6, whatever time you pick, do it at the same time, be consistent. And go out there in 1 week, focus on different things every week, every single week. Focus on our auto 1 week, focus on our mobile the next week, focus on our mortgage the following week, focus on saving money on hotels 1 week. Focus on one thing. And what you're wanting to do is capture certain people that are thinking, oh, I travel sometimes. Maybe I'll listen to this thing about the hotels. Oh, I buy cars. Maybe I'll listen to this. Don't focus on everything all at once. If you do a Facebook Live and you're talking about everything all at one time, it's very confusing. There's a lot in our network. There is a lot of stuff to learn, and people's heads will just explode. They can't follow the whole thing, and it's impossible to talk about our network on a Facebook Live in 5 or 10 minutes and cover everything. It's literally impossible to do. Go in there and say stuff like, you know, I was able to save money on my cell phone. This is so cool. Oh my goodness. How many people out there have cell phones? Look what I was able to do. And I was so excited about it. I shared it with some other people. They save money on cell phones. Oh my goodness. They were so excited. Invite guests on your Facebook Live. Oh my gosh. Whatever he said, whatever she said, I did the same thing. Have people partner up with you. Share some testimonials, but don't sell them anything. Do not sell them anything. And at the end or at the bottom, just say, oh my gosh, if you'd like to see how we saved, message us. Send me a private message. Don't mention our network. Don't mention Sprint. Don't mention any of that stuff. Just say, you know, I was able to do this. I was able to receive some phones. I don't have to pay for them for at least 18 months. You know, you can hit some of the highlights. There's one Facebook Live right there. The next week, oh my goodness, whether you saved or not, it's like, oh my goodness, I've got a good friend. He just saved 24% on his car. He just saved 17% on another car or whatever. Read other testimonials. Go into our world and start reading the testimonials. One right after another, after another, after another. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonials in there. Oh my goodness. You know, I eat out a lot. Does anyone ever eat out? How nice would it be to save to eat? How nice would it be to save when you eat out? Your testimonials, that make that your Facebook Live. Talk about other things. Oh my goodness, I've met people that are struggling. I found this way I can save a few $100s a month. It is so cool, and this is what I've done. This is what I've saved. Then bring other people on. Hey, guess what? This is what they've saved. This is what this person, because they want to hear it from more than just one person. That's a good Facebook Live. Those are also good ads. If you're going to place ads about a particular thing, a particular item. And what you want to do is target those ads. What I mean by that, target them in certain places. Target an ad in a place if, you know, if, for example, when our med comes out with prescriptions and that kind of thing with the medications, go into places where people may have pets, or, you know, go into places where people are seniors over 55. Some of them may be on medications or whatever, or go into wherever, it doesn't matter. Go into places that talk about cars, go into places that talk about mortgages, go into places that just target that messaging. Because what you want to do, that's what it means by share valuable content. One thing I can tell you in sales, and I've been doing it for so long, nobody, including myself who's been in it, likes to be sold. But we love it when people share stuff with us. We absolutely love that. But Facebook Live is an excellent source for leads. Facebook itself is an excellent source for lead, and we'll talk about other things you can do in Facebook as well, other than just live. Messenger is another place. Putting the ads, and not just Facebook. There's LinkedIn. There's other things as well. When you do get leads, make sure you're prepared to have the conversation with them and call them quickly. Pick up the phone and call them, or message them back almost immediately. Don't wait a couple days. Don't wait even 24 hours. As soon as you see that in there, respond and be prepared with your response. I don't particularly love using scripts. When I mention here, use scripted prospecting calls, what I mean by that is just be prepared. Write down for 5-10 minutes, you know, prepare what you're going to say, or, you know, things you're going to, and it also depends on what you led with. Did I lead with hard auto? Did I lead with this? Did I lead with that? What is it that I did? And get in there and answer their questions. And you know, one thing I learned a long time ago as well is if they ask you a question, then ask them two. If they ask you 2 questions, ask them 3. Ask them questions. Get to know your prospect. Get to know their needs. I'll tell you a cool story. I was in a sales class, oh gosh, it's been quite a few years, and I was selling medical collections at the time. And I remember the gentleman, he got up in the front of the class and he asked a simple question. He pulled out a pen and said, all right, who in this class would like to come up and sell this pen? So somebody raised their hand and he picked this person and they went up there. And they started talking about the pen. I said, you know, it's blue, it's about this big, it writes in black, it's got this cool little thing. And he started talking about all these features of this pen. And the class was looking at him like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a nice pen, whatever. But he didn't sell anybody the pen. And I just stood up. I said, let me take a crack at it. I said, give me that pen. So he walks over, he handed me that pen. And all I did was this. I looked at the class, said, hey, is there anyone in here that needs a pen? And about 4 people raised their hand. I said, okay, cool. What are you writing with? And somebody had one of those mechanical pencils. So, oh, it looks like you need a pen. I said, well, I've got one for you. He said, how much? I said, $1. Here you go. Boom, I sold the pen. Just like that. I didn't say a thing about the pen. Do you know what I did? I recognized his need and I filled it. That's all I did. I recognized his need by asking a question and I filled his immediate need. He needed a pen, sold him a pen for $1. That's it. That's how you sell. You've got to know your prospects. You've got to know where you're prospecting. You've got to know what their needs are. If you're in a certain group or you're creating a certain campaign, target that as much as possible and say, look, this is what this group typically discusses. Read some of the other posts in that group. Read some of the other ads in that group. Read some of the responses in that group. Then you'll learn quickly what they talk about. You'll kind of see, hey, so-and-so posted this ad, so-and-so posted that. Why don't you go and look at ads that people post on your Facebook and other things and see who's getting the most responses? And say, you know what, that's a cool ad. That one works. That one looks good. That one looks great. But also at the same time, don't just plagiarize and copy everything word for word. Personalize it. Personalize it to yourself. Another thing, a way to get leads, easy, is you've got to separate yourself from everybody else. And how do you do that? Easy. You become a speaker, a presenter. You become an expert in the field. It's amazing how many times I see people on Facebook and they're selling books, they're selling ebooks, they're selling information. I had never heard of some of these people in my life. And I'll click on their page and they've got 500,000 views. And I'm thinking, wow, who is this 25-year-old kid? Who is this person? It's somebody that understands he or she had a niche. And they say, look, I separated myself as an expert. People want to follow the leader. They want to follow the expert. One of the first things I did when I joined rNetwork, I say within a day, I had a Facebook page up. You know, it's so funny that our revolutionary team page, we have as many people on our page, if not more than the corporate page. Did you realize that? And it's not a corporate page. It's just my team page. That's it. I put a page up immediately and I started posting stuff about rNetwork. I started sharing ideas, sharing thoughts. I separated myself as a leader and I became a leader in rNetwork. That's what I did. I didn't do anything special. I didn't do anything crazy, but how consistent was I on that? How often would I post stuff? I was doing calls every week. I was doing trainings on self-development, on sales. I was just like I am tonight, sales trainings. I treated it like a business and I started getting leads and leads. I can't tell you how many private messages I've received. Hey, I checked out your system. Tell me all about it. And then I'll ask them a question. Well, how did you find me? And if they say, well, so-and-so sent me, I'll send them to so-and-so. I don't want to take, as people. But if they're saying, oh, no, I just ran into you from this and bumped into this and that. I say, okay, cool. Let's chat. Let's talk. And I've done that a lot. And the cool thing is, I've always given away a lot of people to others as far as if someone else sent them, I give them back. I play nice. I play fair because that's ethics. That's the right thing to do. But I could have easily gone and said, you know what? Everything I've posted, and I tell members, go ahead and do this. Share your links, do whatever if they want more information. It's all about you. I've always built this kind of as a team. I had my 3 people. I had my 10 very quickly because I went out and I just talked to a lot of people. I made a lot of phone calls and I built it up quickly. And now I've focused on helping other people get their 10, get their teams going and built. I do a lot of 3-way calls and stuff, but I've treated it like a business. And one thing I ask a lot is this: when you hear my name, when you see my face, do you think rNetwork? And a lot of people, honestly, the answer yes. That's all they know me for. They don't know me for anything else I've ever done unless they've been a friend of mine for years. They don't know me for anything else because I never promote anything else. Whenever you see me online, what am I talking about? Am I talking about anything other than rNetwork? Not really. I've separated myself. I've become almost, I don't want to say a public figure, but within our network, I've become a public figure within our network. Within network marketing, I'm starting to become well known because I talk about our network all the time. I'm slowly becoming one of the faces of our network. Why? Because I put myself out there. I've done videos. I've done all sorts of different things. Get out of your comfort zone and become better. Become a better speaker. Become a better presenter. Go out there, publish articles and blogs. Write an article about, anything. Go in, start writing articles about, the way the car industry is changing, maybe for our auto. Think about it. More people are going to Carvana and other places to buy cars that they don't see. One of the biggest reasons and one of the biggest pushbacks I've received on our auto, well, I want to see the car first. Well, you know what? A lot of places are selling cars where you don't see them first anymore. The world's headed in that direction. A lot of these brick and mortar places are going to the wayside. People are buying more and more items online, including cars, and yes, many times even houses, big ticket items. People purchase them online. I've got a cousin in Georgia, Noonan, Georgia, and I went and I spoke with him a couple weeks ago when I was out there in Atlanta, and he just started laughing. I said, "What's so funny?" He said, "All these car dealers in town, John. We've got all these car dealers up and down the strip. I'm out selling every single one of them." He's in his late 20s. He's selling over 100 cars a month on that one lot, and he's got another lot doing about the same. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm selling them all online. Every single one of them. I sell them online. People buy them, and they come and pick them up." And he said, "And I love it because I don't have to sit there and meander around and show people this car and try to sell them on the lot. I don't have to waste all my time doing that. They find it online, they like it, they buy it, they come and they pick it up. Every time somebody walks on my dealership, either they're buying a car or they're, servicing it later on if there's service needs or whatever." So that's it. And he's making a fortune doing it. Why? Because he found that niche. He understood that's the way the world's headed. So our auto, when you hear, "Well, I've got to see it first," no, you don't. No, you don't. My cousin's proven that. I proved that. I bought 2 cars without seeing them. I've seen other people buy cars on our auto, and they're very, very happy about it. But that's what you do. You go in there, you see where the world's headed. You get there first. Obviously, kind of that's the whole premise of our business. But you find that niche and you fill it. You find that need, you fill it. Go write articles and blogs about where the car industry is headed. And go in there and say, "Oh, and I found a place in your blog you can mention, there's a place called Our Auto." Write a testimonial about it. Put articles out there, put blogs out there, put posts out there about it. Do the same thing with the phones, do the same thing with the mortgages and everything else that we have and offered. And it's okay, lead with the cards sometimes, just stuff like that. Lead with, "Oh, here's the revvcard, here's what it is, here's what it's going to be, this is what it's going to look like. However, right now we're building this network," whatever. Just put different things out there, but be consistent. Post ads all the time. Do the blogs, write at least 1 blog a week. Do at least 1 Facebook Live a week. Host events at your houses, at your friends' houses. Get partners to partner up with. I can't tell you how many times I get phone calls. "Hey, John, can you come to our event? Can you come do this? Can you co-host? Can you do that?" And if I can, I will. But it's amazing. I love it because I'm thinking, wow, here's all these members doing all these events. And I see these events being posted on our world, and I'll see there's 20 people that showed up, 30 people, 50 people that showed up. All these, those are leads. Those are lead sources. Go out there on Craigslist. Post some ads on Craigslist. Post free ads. Put free ads out there all over the place. But every ad you post curiosity ads. They're great. How would you like to learn to save money on your next automobile? How would you like to do this and this and this? Don't recruit them into a business. If you're leading with recruiting, you're not going to get a lot of people asking you about it. In fact, you'll probably get some people commenting and say, "Oh, no, not this again." You'll probably get more negative comments than you will leads. Go in there and just share and things of that sort. That's how you do it, but you've got to do it all these different ways. Another thing that's really great is sell deeper. What in the world does that even mean? Sell deeper. Learn more about your prospects' needs. Just like I did with that pen. Anybody want a pen? Anybody need one? Okay, great. I had four potential buyers. Just like that. I didn't have to go up and say anything about the pen. I saw a need, I filled that need. Learn about your prospects' needs. Ask questions. Has everyone ever used this source? Have you ever saved on this hotel, or have you ever saved using this? What are the average savings you have seen in hotels using whatever, whatever it may be, hotels.com, You know what? I would love to see them, because I just found a place that I save more money. How cool is that? Boom, there's your ad. I've just found this. I just found that. Get people, just engage them somehow. Throw questions out there. Throw things out there that people are going to respond to. But don't go out there and say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and just say, I just found this cool business opportunity. It's great. All you need is 3 people and it's free. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't work. That's so 10 years ago. That doesn't work anymore. People are smarter now. They've picked up on that. But if they have a need and you can fill that need, that's different than selling that sharing. Your ads and everything you do should be in the form of sharing. Share information, share valuable information in numerous multiple places, all over the place. Do it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I can tell you one thing I love about LinkedIn. A lot of times people tell you what they do for a living. You know what they do. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a doctor. I'm a school teacher. I'm this, I'm that. You can see it on LinkedIn. You know how great it is to have that information? Oh, so-and-so is a real estate agent. Well, how cool would it be to contact said agent and say, hey, realtor, check this out. I just found a great place where you may be able to send or save your borrowers, your buyers, money on their mortgage. I would love to share it with you. Can I share that with you? That's it. You're not recruiting them into this MLM. You're saying, hey, you may have a need that I might be able to fill. And that's what you do. That's how you go get leads. And you do all 14 of these, you should be writing them down. And think of any others that you may have thought of as well. There are a lot of ways to generate leads. Ask people who tell you no. Well, do you know anyone else who may be interested in this or that or this or this or that? Ask them. If people tell you no, ask them why they told you no. Another great practice is this. When somebody answers one of your ads, ask them what it was that attracted them to your ad. Why did you respond to your ad? What was it in my ad that attracted you? Then guess what? Then you lead with that when you sell them. Well, I liked this aspect. I liked this aspect of the card. I like this aspect of our auto. I like this aspect of our cellular or our mobile or whatever. Ask them what attracted them. What did they think about it? Then once you do get a prospect, make a plan with your prospect. Is this going to be a charter member? Will they be a fan, and why? Learn everything you can about that person, about their professional needs, their wants. Learn about them. Become their friend. Learn as much as you can about them, because then you can help customize a plan for that particular person. And then that person may just turn into a good business partner and you have no idea. Then you ask that person, hey, what does your network look like? With all of our products, with everything we're doing, what does your network look like? Talk about some of the future plans. Once you've sold them on one thing, you say, you know what, once our bank rolls out, let's talk about the payroll option. Let's talk about this. Do you know any business owners who would like payroll? Do you know any people like this who would like this or that, whatever it may be? Learn about that individual. Learn about that person. And then ask that person to do the same thing. Hey, guess how I found you? I found you with this ad. Now let's help you write some ads. Let's help you get out there. Let's help you do the same thing I did to attract you. And that's called duplication. And you duplicate, and you keep doing that. But you shouldn't have to go buy from one lead source and do all this kind of stuff over and over again. If you do, it's not as effective. So I'm going to show a short video. I've got a special guest. I'll have him unmute himself and share something else we're doing as well. But I really want people to really listen to this. And I promise you, I know what I'm talking about. Our team our little team in rNetwork, you know, we're about 1 or 2 days away from hitting 6,000 members. We just hit 5,000. I think it was announced 2 weeks ago. So in the last 2.5 weeks, we've brought in another 1,000 people just on our team. You know, and this is from someone who didn't even like network marketing. I wasn't even going to do this, but I saw there's a huge need for rNetwork. There's a need for people to save money. There's a need for people to make money while others save. I saw it. I recognized it. Then I said, look, I'm going to do everything I can do within my power to help build this thing. And I promise you, I know what I'm talking about. I know a little something about sales. Promise. That's why our team is growing so fast. And it's not just me, but I'm saying I had to kind of start it. I had to kickstart that and then massage it and keep it out there. And even though, and I've told a lot of friends this, I said, you know what? I don't have to bring in a single person again, and I'll be totally 100% fine. But will I ever stop prospecting? Heck no, never. You always prospect, always prospect. Another thing you can do is go to events. Stay plugged in, learn this inside and out. Go to events as far as, years ago, gosh, I was prospecting for my appraisal business in Georgia. And I used to go to this breakfast every Friday morning. We'd have eggs and sausage and bacon, whatever it was. And I'd go in there and I'd prospect with different people. I met a pilot in there. He became a really good friend of mine, and he ended up training as an appraiser and became one of our best appraisers. His name was Dan DeSalle. If he's listening, which he's probably not, but you know, I love the guy to death. He was awesome, but I didn't know him before I went to that breakfast. He became a very valuable appraiser for us for a long time. You know, built a business relationship with him, all because I went to a breakfast. You've got to put yourself out there. You've got to open your mouth. You talk to people. And a cool thing about those events, you go out there, it's like LinkedIn. They'll tell you what they do. They'll hand you their business cards. They'll say, I do this, I do that. Oh, wow, you're a VP over here. Okay, great. Hey, do you have employees? Wonderful. How many do you have? You know, what are you doing for payroll? What do you mean, what am I doing for payroll? Well, I've got something that's coming up shortly. I'd love to discuss with you about it. There's a potential lead right there. There's a potential source. And if they're an entrepreneur or business owner, they probably know several other business owners. Why? Because business owners mingle with each other all the time. There's another place you can get leads. You can always get leads, but you've got to keep your eyes and ears open, and you always look for them and hit all of these sources and put yourself out there. But I love her little pitch here. I love her 3 ways and tactics to generate leads. I was scouring the internet all week trying to find, because nobody else wants to hear from just me. So I'm going to share this video real quick. I'll get a couple comments from you guys, and then I'll bring on my special guest.
I run a team, actually 2 teams, one in Hoboken and one in downtown Jersey City. We are 20 people, 6 of us are support staff, and half of my agents are newbies and they are learning. So last year, we did 2.85 million in GCI, which equates to 309 transactions. That's 122 million in volume. And 28% of our business originated off of internet leads. So this year to date, we are currently at 1.873 million in GCI. That's 224 transactions. It is, 108 million in volume, and 33% of our business came from internet leads. So every 100 leads that I get, we are converting 5.38. And what's amazing about that is the fact that I'm standing up here in front of you guys and that I know my numbers, because that was not always the case. So I carry this little cheat sheet in my pocket right here, and I always carry it for moments like this, because Tom always likes to put me on the spot. He's a little bit tricky, and I can never answer, which leads me to my topic, which is online lead gen, and it's all about knowing your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't have a budget. And if you don't have a budget, you can't calculate your ROI. I didn't used to know what ROI meant, return on investment, and you gotta track and measure everything, or you might as well not get into the lead gen business. So, my 3 key tactics. First is speed to lead. So I have a woman who answers all of my leads in 90 seconds. Actually, it's a man now because I fired the woman. And he sits there, he has 3 screens. And we do things a little bit differently. We run our group like with opportunity time, floor time, and you sit in the hot seat. And if he gets a live lead, he hands it over to you. You know what you're talking about, and you land the appointment. And what that has done for us is it's alleviated having callbacks. So I found that with callbacks, half of the time, they didn't answer the phone, or we didn't have the number correct, or worse than that, my team didn't even bother to call you back. So that has helped immensely with our conversion. And this speed to lead thing, these people, they are not your past clients. They are not warm and fuzzy. They do not know you. They're on the internet. They have a question. They're looking for an answer. And they are going to go with the first person who answers them. So you want to be that person. So second, you got this lead on the phone, and you have to know your scripts. You have to know what to say to them. You have roughly 30 seconds to build some sort of rapport with these people. And it is impossible to build rapport, to match and mirror, if you have to think about what you're talking about. So my team does daily role play. We don't let you loose on our internet leads unless you know what you're talking about, you know exactly the questions you're going to ask, you know how to qualify that lead, and ultimately how to get the appointment. So you have that going down, and now number 3 tactic, and arguably the most important of all, would be having a killer follow-up plan. So you have all of these leads, you have to have something to do with them. So we have a preset campaign. It sends you texts, it sends you emails, it's sending you listings. It's giving my agents alerts so that they know when to follow up with you. And it's giving the leads access to the MLS through a feed. We're able to see what it is that they're looking at, and we can see the frequency in which they're looking. And if you go on there and you look at something 5 times, we are going to get an alert, and that way we reach out and we get the appointment. So super important. Now you have speed to lead, you know your script, you have a killer follow-up plan. Oh, and let me just mention, with the killer follow-up plan, you do not need to reinvent the wheel, right? Because there are at least a half a dozen people sitting up here, super smart people, operators, not artists like me, people that have written these plans and they've thought them out and they have kindly uploaded them into our Facebook coaching groups. They've shared them. You go on there and you steal one. I know, I did. So you have the speed to lead, you know your scripts, and you have a killer follow-up plan. It's time to look at your online profile. We are a review-based society, and when I'm going to go to a new restaurant, the first thing that I do is I hop on Yelp, I look up the restaurant. If a lot of people are saying a bunch of negative shit about that restaurant, I'm not eating there. Remember, buyers and sellers, they're doing that with you. They are going to go on, there's a lot of choice, and you want them to choose you. If you go and you look at my profile, I have 130 plus reviews. You're never going to see my pictures sideways. Everything has a video. Somebody has read my remarks so that they're not spelled incorrectly. And I will tell you that if I'm going, I get a listing lead, a seller lead, I ask them, am I competing? And 9 out of 10 times they will tell me with who. I look up that person's profile, and I really, if their profile is not crushing it the way that mine is, I am printing it out, I bring it with me on the appointment, and who do you think is getting the listing? It's me, right? So, finally, I'm supposed to share with you guys a secret, and then I can run away. So, my secret would be, and I'm going to go a little old school here, right? You have all of these internet leads. So you have a whole bunch of people to call, right? And It's been drilled into us. You got to have your hour of power. You got to do your 5-5-4. You have to prospect. I am personally supposed to have 17 conversations a day in order to make my numbers, right? And I get up every day and I'm supercharged. I'm pumped. I'm going to call everyone. I get into the office and squirrel. Something happens, right? I don't make these phone calls, and I am sure a lot of you can relate to me, right? So I have hired myself an ISA, and I don't call them an ISA, I'm calling her an appointment setter. I give her the internet leads, she stands there, she calls these leads, she sets appointments, I go on these appointments, I have more deals, right? And more deals for me is more closings, which is more cash, more shoes. So it's not that complicated. And also, you should know, when you're hiring this ISA, and I can talk about this from serious experience because I have unsuccessfully hired at least 30 of them, I am no longer allowed to hire the ISA. I tend to hire people I like, people like me, people that don't make their phone calls. And so my executive team now hires. They give everybody who joins our team a personality test. It's like a disc profile. And they know exactly what it is to look for, in order to hire somebody that's actually going to make these phone calls. And then also, before you hire, you want to have some sort of set compensation plan in place. And we're trying to keep our overhead low. So in my group,
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. The reason I went a little longer is because I loved what she was saying, a couple things. Let's apply what she said about hiring the correct people. Let's apply about what she said. I'm hiring them because I like them, but I can't do it anymore because I've hired at least 30 people who wouldn't make their calls, who wouldn't do this. When you're building a business, especially network marketing or really any business, you're looking for leaders initially as much as you can. And that's another strategy. You want to get some good leads, go get yourself a couple good leaders on your team. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but that goes back to the question asking stages. Ask them a little bit about themselves, who they are, who their networks are, what they like about our network, what intrigued them about our network or your ad that you placed or this or that. Learn about them. Come up with a plan and work with that individual and say, hey, let's build this business together through my network and your network. You know that every single time you bring on a prospect or a lead or you close another person, you have another network to draw from. And you don't realize how big their network may be or your network really may be. Last week, I talked a lot about the 6 degrees of separation and everything. And it's so true. We are all networked together. We can get to almost anybody in the world through networks. That's why it's network marketing. And that's why you see teams with teams that people in several different countries and everything like that. If you think I knew people from this country and that country just 4 months ago, you're dead wrong. I had no idea. I got teams all over the world right now. Why? Because I networked. I asked a lot of questions. I asked the right questions. And I said, let's plug into your network. Let's create a plan. You find somebody you want to work with. Hey, let's do calls every week. Let's, set up a team call. Let's set up team pages. Let's do this. Let's build a business together. And if you do that, again, it shows people how serious you are too. She hit it right on the head when she said, they're going to go and they're going to look at your profile. They're going to see who you are because they want to trust you. They don't want to do anything with you unless they trust you. If I go look and I'm building a business on Facebook and I look at somebody's profile and all they do is talk about politics and they bash this guy and bash that guy and they rip this person, they rip that guy, or they do this and that, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to work with this person. But if I go with that person and they're building a professional business online and they're talking about their business and they're sharing their ideas and they're sharing their success stories and they've got people sharing their success stories, and I look at their profile and I'm thinking, man, this person has it together. I want to work with this person. That's what you do. If I look up somebody's profile and they're talking negative in our Facebook groups and they're saying, hey, this stinks and what am I waiting for this for? And this is dumb and this is stupid and this is taking too long. I don't want to work with that person. I would purposely not contact that person. I'll find somebody who's in there that's 100% positive and say, hey, I want to work with that person. It's perception. It's perception. I want to work with the person who's got that positive attitude that's going to go out there and I can tell, hey, no matter what happens, this person's a worker. This person's a doer. I want to work with this person. I want to attach myself with that person. Another thing to remember is overcoming obstacles and overcoming objections. I talked about it in Super Saturday just a couple days ago. I said, look, you've got to understand the difference between a standard MLM and what rNetwork is. Because the old model is broken. We know it's broken. We've been in it. We've been stuck in the rut. We've done it. We've paid auto ship. We've overpaid for products. We all have. It's not embarrassing. It's not bad. It's happened to all of us. That's how we learn and we develop. We learn to look for better opportunities or whatever it may be. But most people are still stuck in that rut. We've got to understand the difference between what rNetwork is and what a standard MLM is. When people ask me what I do for a living, because that conversation comes up all the time. Hey, what do you do for a living? I'll ask people, hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a school teacher. Okay, great. They'll ask me, what do you do for a living? And I said, well, you know, I save a lot of money and I help people save money and I earn by helping people save money. That's my answer. And they're like, what? Well, what are you? And I said, I am a saver of money. That's what I am. That's my title. I save money. And it just, they think, what, huh? And it starts the conversation. You can have that conversation in the grocery store. You can have that conversation at the park. You can have that conversation anywhere. I save money and I earn money by helping other people save money. That's what I do for a living. That is what I do. And it is what I do for a living. It's exactly what I do for a living. I do this full time now. This is my living. This is what I do. Because I jumped right in. I will do everything I ask people to do on these calls. I am willing to do myself. I write all sorts of things. No, I don't write blogs, but I write comments on our Facebook all the time. I've got a very active, I don't know if you noticed, we have a very active Facebook page. Very active. There's videos on there. There's YouTube channel. There's this. There's that. I'm always putting content in there. I'm always training. I'm always doing something to help develop. And guess what? When somebody looks me up on Facebook and they connect me to your rNetwork, they're like, that's that rNetwork guy. I was actually approached in the grocery store the other day. Aren't you that guy from rNetwork? I'm like, yep, that's me. Nice to meet you. My name's John. Why? Because I put myself out there all the time. I'm always doing it. You never know who's watching. You have no idea. But it's essential when you do all this stuff and put it all together, you place these ads, you do everything, you're sharing, you're not selling. You've got to find that need and you got to fill it, and you've got to do it, like I said, at many different sources. You don't know which source is going to outperform the other until you try it. I'll tell you a secret, and I promised I was going to do this at the beginning of the call. Lead generation companies, what do they do a lot? Well, they'll go out and they'll pay for SEO or whatever. They'll try to get ranked. They'll go out and they'll just start throwing ads all over the place. They'll place this ad here, this ad there. They're doing what I do, what I'm telling you to do. They'll go and Craigslist, they'll throw ads. They'll throw ads on Facebook. They'll throw ads on LinkedIn. They'll throw ads on YouTube. They just throw ads out there. And as people respond to those ads, they'll put them through a little capture page or whatever it may be, and they'll say, hey, all right, let's qualify them as much as we can, and then let's put them $1 per lead, $10 per lead, $5, depending on what industry it is, and they'll sell those leads to you. They do it all the time. They're not doing anything you can't do yourself. They're really not. You can do all of this yourself. I told you guys from day one, when I start earning money in rNetwork, which I have, I'm going to take some of that money and I'm going to reinvest it back into marketing, which I'm doing. In fact, the Fusion project, I've talked about it many, many times. I've got it finally in stone through corporate's approval. A meeting with them November 4th because corporate wants to make all those announcements on November 6th. They wanted me to put that meeting really close. So I scheduled it. I'm meeting with corporate on the morning of the 4th. I'm meeting with Fusion the afternoon of the 4th. And I'm finally going to be releasing the Fusion project. I'm very excited about it. It'll take about 2 weeks to launch it once I go meet with them. So mid-November, that'll be out. And you'll see everything I talk about, I do. I'm also only placing ads on stuff that exists right now. I'm not placing ads on, so other than maybe the card, because the card is really cool and that will draw people in. But I'm going to be doing a lot of social media and a lot of different places, not just Facebook. I'll be doing LinkedIn. I'll be doing all sorts of different places. Because why? Because there's people in all these different places, and we'll see what outperforms what. Even though I've been in this industry in sales for decades, I still understand the importance of saying, hey, I'm going to put myself out there everywhere, and I'm going to throw all this stuff at the wall, and I'm going to see what sticks. But I've learned over time what sticks better than this will stick better than that, because I'm sharing, I'm not selling. That's why you see all these trainings we do with rNetwork. You see Dave and Ed and John and Terry and everyone sharing about self-improvement, getting better at your messaging, getting better. That's the only thing. That's what's going to separate you from the next person. That's what's going to help you become successful in rNetwork or anything you do. You've got to constantly go for self-improvement every single day. Every single day, look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, what can I get better at today? Can I get better at prospecting, lead gen, closing? What is it I need to get better at? And how do I do it? Start by listening to the people that have done it, that have made money in this industry and other industries. Listen to them and be humble enough to say, you know what? They're right. Maybe I should listen. They've got the numbers to back it up. They obviously know what they're talking about. So with that, another thing you want to do, and we'll go back a couple slides here, and I'm going to bring on my special guest and give him a little bit of time tonight. Sharing valuable content. Corporate's going to give a lot of content. Dave mentioned it today. They're going to give us logos and stuff we can use for our own sites very shortly. We can take all the content that they've created and we can share it on all of our sites. The campaigns, the sequencing of the emails and the texts and everything like that. With that, I want to bring my friend on. We've been talking a lot, especially the last few weeks. He's created some new funnels and things of that sort. Once you get the leads, you can put them into these funnels, allow those funnels to help you with this sequencing. Then also do it yourself. Pick up the phone, call your leads yourself. Do everything on this list. Exhaust this list. And I promise you, if you exhaust this list, you will always have more than enough leads. And then you teach your team to exhaust this list and create leads, because every person you sign up, now you've got one other person doing these 14 items. And the next person does these 14 items. And you do that over and over and over again. Now you've got 50 people doing these 14 items, 100 people doing these 14 items. And guess what? Watch how fast your team grows. But you've got to put in the effort. You do have to work. Expect less than half the results. If you're going to do this business, do this business. Learn how to do it correctly. Listen to those who have been there and done that. With that, I want to bring my friend on. If you want to unmute yourself, Brian, are you on the call? See if I can get him on here. There we go. A lot of talk. There you go. Okay, Brian, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. There we go.
All
Perfect.
right.
And let me do this. Let me try to, I'm going to put on a new share. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. And then Brian here, we've got the Rev system. We've heard about the Rev system. There'll be some announcements about the system later on. I can't get into them tonight. But everything, there's a new funnel system on that. It's corporate approved. Everything's looking great. And there's going to be more and more funnel systems as we've promised. We want to help you generate leads. And anybody wants to use the system to help follow up on those leads and do everything else, and also help generate the leads using these funnels and everything. There's another way to do it. Again, don't just use one source. So use everything on this list, including his source, and you just watch. And Brian's another individual who's built teams. He's had a lot of success. There's always tell people there's a method behind everything we do. We don't do these trainings, or we don't put together these systems and stuff because we don't know what we're doing, or we're just trying to waste people's times. We've got teams to grow, and we're very, very excited about what it is we're doing. So let me see if I can, let's see, promote to panelist. Okay, I made you a panelist, Brian. So yes, I just figured out how to do it. So you can go ahead and share your screen if you like, and I will just shut up and listen.
Okay, John, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure if I'm sharing the screen or not.
Click on New Share at the top.
View options. I don't have it. I have a share here. You cannot start sharing screen while other participant is sharing. That's okay. I could just talk, man. It's not a big deal. But yeah, man, I kind of want, I want to ditto everything that you said tonight, man. Everything that you went over is 100% correct. And sharing information online, becoming a product of your product, really, and going out and getting educated on what what it is that you're selling, and creating your own experience. Okay. And I know that we've had this conversation several times, going out and using the product, right? Know your back office, know what you're doing with rNetwork, go through the education, learn what the products are, learn what the services are, use the services. And when you're using the services, document your experience through using that, and then share that experience on like your Facebook lives and on LinkedIn and things like that, and target specific groups, target specific, if someone's talking about cell phones, talk about your experience with using our mobile, right? And then but don't try to sell anything. If you try to sell anything, nobody likes to get sold. That's the, and it's like, if I go to like a car dealership, and I think everyone's probably had this type of an experience where you go to the car dealership and you're just kind of browsing around, you're going between the lanes and you're looking at the different cars, and then out of the corner of your eye, you see that guy coming to you, that guy or girl, and you're like, oh man, here comes the sales pitch. It's on its way, right? Don't try to sell anybody anything, right? With this, I mean, this is 100% something that you share. Now, with the Rev system and using the Rev system, it's a tool, right? When we were watching that video with the lady about online, the lead generation stuff, I really liked what she was saying, like having a killer follow-up system, right? And so when you're out there and you're talking to folks on Facebook, or you're doing these leads, and let's just talk about a Facebook Live. Hey, you know what? PM me for details, right? Send me a private message for info, or reply info, and I'll send you the information. When they do that, when you share your experience, and then you request for them to send info or whatnot, when you private message them, then you send them to your funnel. Okay, that's the point where you introduce your prospect to your funnel. Now, with the funnel, like we just launched the Pioneer funnel, which is doing awesome, by the way. But when you're using the funnel systems, it's not something you just want to go on Facebook and say, hey, check this out. This is a new marketing, blah 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 blah. Here's my link. No, you don't want to do that. Okay, you want to be a little more delicate about the process, right? So when you put together your experience, right, go out and use the service so you can become a product of your product. Use the product, experience the savings. Okay, document your savings, document your experience, share that experience on Facebook, and then when people start requesting information from you, that's when you send them to your funnel. Yep. Hey, this is where you go to check out the information. They watch the short little 2-minute or the 1-minute video on the capture. They opt in. When they opt in, the whole purpose of the opt-in is so that you as the business owner now have contact information where the system can automatically follow up with your prospect for you. Okay, it's having that killer follow-up system. Okay, so we're going to follow up with the emails. We're going to follow up with the text messages, right? As soon as they opt in and confirm, they're sent over to the new presentation video. Okay, the new presentation video is like 8.5 minutes long, but it covers everything. As much as we could get in, we tried to keep it as short and sweet as we possibly could. But it talks about our mobile. It talks about what the fans get. It talks about what a charter member gets, and it goes into a little more detail. Then all the links are set to your rNetwork.io site, right? And so you know, using the funnel as a tool, right? Now, as soon as somebody opts in and they confirm their email address, or you have them text your keyword. You know, I had another a member here earlier that had sent in a question about, you know, how can we, you know, kind of shorten the process, right? And I'm like, okay, well, you can use the keyword, right? Instead of sending somebody to, you know, opt in at a capture page and provide all that information, just tell them to text your keyword to the 844 number. As soon as they do that, we capture their information, because that's them giving us expressed consent to follow up with them, to send them information. They're requesting it that way. So as soon as they do that, what do? Boom, we instantly send them out the video, the presentation video that discusses what it is we're working on, right? That also puts them into the follow-up text series, so they start receiving those follow-up text messages, right? Now, another thing that the lady in the video was talking about was notifications and talking to your prospects and being actively engaged with your prospects, right? So as soon as your prospects opt in, and if they text in your keyword, what do? The Rev system sends you a notification. It says, hey, John, you have a new prospect. Here's their name. Here's their phone number. Call them, right? Instantly, bam. Okay, so which is important, because you want to know, you know, as soon as someone opts in, you want to get them while they're hot, right? That's why we send out those notifications when we do that, right? Is because it's important for you to have that. So having that killer follow-up it's so important. It's so valuable, you know, to keep you actively engaged. So as you're going out and you're prospecting in all these different ways, whether it's on Facebook Live, or you're doing a post on Facebook, or you're doing, you know, LinkedIn message, make sure that your content that you're sharing with your folks is sharing your experiences that you have with the product that you're trying to refer. Okay? Don't try to sell them, because that never works. People don't like to be sold. Share your experience. Create that experience. When they request the information, send them through the funnel. Let the funnel do the presentation for you. When you receive the notification to follow up with them, follow up with them. Take action. Okay? And that's why with the Pioneer funnel, you get notifications, and so you know which funnel they opted in with, whether they opted in on the Smart Card REVVolution funnel, or if they opted in through the Pioneer funnel. Whichever way you do it, we send you out notifications either way, so you know which funnel they came in with. So when you call them, you know what to talk about. You know what to say to them, right? Okay. Now we are going to be expanding the back office as well. We're going to be creating campaigns, okay, where which is going to be really cool. So you have the two different funnels right now that are in there. Here pretty soon, you're going to be able to create campaigns, right? So you can create a campaign ID for your specific funnel, and then you can label that campaign. Let's say it's going to be a Facebook ad. Okay, so you're going to create a new campaign in your back office, which gives you a unique URL to that funnel. That unique URL will have its own statistics. It will have its own tracking stuff, the whole 9 yards, so you know what is working the best for you, right? So you can follow up. Some other things that we're doing within the back office here with the Rev System 2 is, you know, a lot of folks have been asking us, it's like, okay, well, I have my 3, I have my 10, I want to help my team. Okay, so Matt and I are putting together a rotator type of a platform inside of the Rev system that's going to allow you to do lead share, which is, it's going to be automated. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm not going to go into the whole thing onto it, because I have to explain at very high levels on how it's all going to work, but it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a perpetual type of a lead share. It's going to be just awesome. Okay, and like John said, you know, we have a lot of other things that we're working on with corporate that we can't announce just yet, but things are coming, you know, so everything is progressing forward. Another really cool thing too, guys, is the marketing material. Okay, in the back office of the Rev system, the marketing material, you can now order printable marketing material. Everything has been approved by corporate. Everything's good, right? So with the new sales funnel, with the new Pioneer funnel, you can get like 4x6 postcards, right, that have the same look and feel as your capture page with the Pioneer funnel. So you get some of those printed up. We are only shipping in the US. So if you're outside of the US, just contact us through the live support and we'll get you taken care of. But for inside of the US, all of the prices on there, it all includes shipping, okay? They're less than you can find anywhere else. We went out and did all these price comparisons and the whole 9 yards. But if you get like, say you get the postcards, the 4x6s, and you go out and you're having dinner, or you're having, whatever, wherever you're at, you talk to somebody and you hand them that card, right? That's a form of marketing, right? So you hand them the card, they take it home, they go online, and oh, wow, look, the capture page looks just like the card. It's instant credibility, right? And then as soon as they opt in, you follow up with them because we send you the notifications, right? And so, which is super important. Another thing that Matt and I are working on right now is live chat, right? So we're going to have this feature in the back office where, because you know how on the Rev system right now, if you go to the revvsystem.com, we always have the little live chat icon, right? That's on there, and you click on that and it comes straight to me, really. Okay, now I have that. It's an incredible platform. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and they have an app that you can get on your phone. So we're going to be putting together a way for you to be able to put live chat on your funnel pages. Okay, so that as soon as a prospect gets to, opts in and confirms and all that kind of stuff, they'll have a live chat icon where they can click on that and it will ding your phone and you can chat with them live while they're still on your funnel. Okay, so there's all these different tools and features and things that we can do to help you try to stay engaged with your prospects as you're going out there marketing and sharing your experiences. But I think at the end of the day, John, really what this all comes down to is taking massive, determined action. Okay, setting your plan and putting it into action. Go out and put out the, just like you said, when you got involved with our network, you went out, you created a Facebook page, and you started posting content, your experiences, pulling in this over here and pulling in that over here. And then so when people start seeing it, oh, well, that's John, he's the rNetwork guy, and that's it. You have to put yourself out there, right? And by doing that, when you put yourself out there, use the tools that are there for you. Right? The Rev system is phenomenal because it's your killer follow-up system, right? It follows up with emails. It follows up with text. It gives you the notifications. You're going to have live chat pretty soon. We're going to have, lead share rotators. We're going to, all these things that are going to be there. Plug into the tools. Use the tools, right? Because tools are duplicatable. If you go out and you create this Facebook campaign and people start sharing, right? And you share your experience. They come in, it's like, oh, I want to see that. Give me some info. Okay, you send them to your sales, you send them to the Rev system funnel, to the areyoupioneer.com, right? You send them to the funnel. They opt in, okay? They confirm. You get the notification. You call them. You put them through the process. They want to sign up. You sign them up. You duplicate that exact process. Get them signed up for the Rev system. Show them how to, post out the ads. Show them how to do the R mobile. Show them how to use the R rewards. Go out and help them create their experiences and start sharing them so you can duplicate the process, right? Systems are duplicatable. And that's the beautiful thing about the Rev system and all the different features that we're building into it. And so with that, John, I'm really not sure what else I can really say or follow up on, man, because this is, I think you covered it really, really well. And I think people really just need to plug in and start posting, become a product of your product, experience the savings, share your experience, use the tools, and follow up. I think that's really the key here. So, John, I'm going to go ahead and pass the call back over to you, sir.
Awesome. No, thank you. And that's, and again, I agree with everything he said. The reason why we do these trainings and things of that sort is we want to help you become better at all of this. And, hopefully you really listen to what we're saying and really just do it. Just, soak it all in and everything. And don't just listen to us. Go out and listen to other people that have had success in this industry and stuff. but really find what works for you and just do it. And if you're going to do anything, do it all the way. It's all or nothing, right? You've got it. Anytime you do anything, it's all or nothing. And this business, I was speaking with a gentleman, and I'll wrap this call up. It's been a little over an hour. I was speaking with the gentleman this morning, a good friend of mine. He's been in this industry. He's one of the top earners in this industry. I know him really well. And he said, John, my goodness, these people just need to learn to work this, because this is by far the best business model I have ever seen. So it's not even close. And I agree with them. I said, yeah, it absolutely is. If you get in here, you dive in and you listen to what we're talking about, and you just apply that. And if you want to learn about the Rev system, revvsystem.com, go learn about that. I'll post it on my site as well. Wait for what corporate may be doing with the Rev system. I'll leave it at that. And just, we've gone back and forth with them a lot on this, and there's just a lot of cool things. And again, we're in a pre-launch state. Rev Systems in the same thing, in a pre-launch state, but it's after November 6th, once we start receiving a lot more on the marketing side from corporate, things implemented into the Rev system now and also then as well. My Fusion project, everything. You're going to have so much marketing, you're not going to know what to do with it. And we're telling you right now what to do with it. Get on there, learn these 14 items on this list, go out, put yourselves out there, bring in lead on top of lead on top of lead. You'll never have to buy a lead again. You won't. If you work it hard enough, you will never have to purchase another lead again. I promise you that. I've not purchased one single lead. We've got a team of almost 6,000 people with 0 leads purchased. None. Because I actually do what I preach. I practice what I preach. I invite all of you guys to do it. I want to see you guys to become successful, because you'll have a lot more fun. You'll have a lot more freedom. Everything, it just gets better. But you listen to what we're saying. Until then, we'll talk to you next time, guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. We'll post the recording here, and I'll post more information about the Rev system, and we'll do more follow-ups and calls just like this and answer questions. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a good night.